Hello my friends, welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, July 21st, 2020. This is Jennifer. The scope of my projects last week was very limited. I pretty much just made masks. I told you guys last week that I had been looking for some space fabric after having an order canceled, and quite a few wonderful people sent me fabric. My kids like the AB mask that you can find on Instructables, and I will put a disclaimer in here that I don't follow the instructions for assembly at all. I did it a few times and then I modified it, and now I have a totally different system for putting mine together, and I'll give you a little bit of a rundown, but I'm not going to do like a tutorial or anything. So these are the space masks that I made for my kiddo. This is for my physicist. So the AB mask is pleated, but it also has darts top and bottom. I also put in a pocket to put a bridge in. That's not on the original pattern. The original one has binding top and bottom and binding on the sides. Instead of doing that, I put the darts in first, and then I sew the whole thing together at one time inside out, including the ties. The ties go in the sides. I leave a hole in between the ties on one end, and then I sew that down, and then you can see the little pleats there. And then it's fitted really nicely because of the pleats and because of the darts. You get a whole face shape, which, like I said, this is my kid's favorite one. And the ties are all leftovers from my son's graduation quilt from the t-shirts, the t-shirt leftovers. So these were 1-inch strips that were the width of the t-shirt, not all the way around, just like one side. And then I just stretched them, and I find that after I put them in, if I trim them down to 18 inches, that seems to be perfect for like any head size. So this one is planets, and we've got more planets. Constellations. This is actually constellations inside and out. This is the fabric that started all this. This is the one that I couldn't find it after my order had been canceled. A couple people had it, and so now I have this one, and I have extra of this fabric, so I may end up doing a Linus space quilt. We'll see. The little astronauts is my personal favorite. Also, a quick aside, I used this on the back of a lot of masks, on the inside of a lot of them, and this is leftover from, I think in 2012 or 2013, we did a Project of Doom on Fandom and Stitches, and you could buy chances to win by making donations to the Linus Connection, and we ended up making like $800 for Linus. And then Janine won. She won the quilt, and that is the back of the quilt that she won. Space badges, also with constellations inside. And then this is constellations, and then they actually have the names on there too. And this one's just got like the purple galaxy fabric on the inside. I also made him a music mask. This was actually going to be for someone else. I did 2 of these for a nurse who is the wife of a friend of mine. And this one, when I was putting it together, I realized there was a little cut right there. So I zigzagged that together, finished the mask, and put this one in my son's pile. And I also made some for my daughter and her boyfriend. Probably 2016 or 2017, I purchased a bunch of Pokemon fabric, and I actually gave it to her because she has a sewing machine and she occasionally sews as well. And just last week she gave it back to me, and I made it into masks for she and her boyfriend. And because they're adorable and cute and always together, and they actually, when they first started dating, played Pokemon Go together a lot, I made them pairs. And we got Pikachu. Put stars on the insides of those. And again, all the ties are from my son's graduation quilt leftovers. And then these guys, more Pokemon. I have been told that this fabric is impossible to find now. I bought it at a quilt store. I think I bought it in New Braunfels, but I'm not sure. It's been a while. And this one, the only difference is the ties are a different color. And my daughter brought me the legs of her favorite pair of jeans that had just disintegrated, and asked me to do something with them. So I took below the knee, between the knee and the ankle was the only fabric that was still in like decent shape, and I made her 2 different styles. I did this one and I did this one. It was more to see if we could use denim on the outside. It's a really soft denim. It's not like a super heavy one, but it still has quilting cotton on the inside. And I put interfacing inside of all of mine. I ran out of non-woven interfacing last week, so a few of my masks have muslin on the inside, so all of mine are 3 layers instead of 2. So I did that for several days, got them all made. On, I think, Saturday, I was making the 2 masks for the nurse, and I was sewing along, and the little Janome that I've been using as my backup machine, it's actually my travel machine. It's the one I take places when I go, like to friends' houses to sew or whatever. And since my Juki's in the shop, I've been sewing on my little Janome. I have to really slow down to go through those pleats because it is not a super robust machine. It only weighs 8 pounds. It's really a travel machine. So I was slowing down and I didn't slow down enough, and my needle hit the foot and it bent the needle. The needle just curved. And then when I like took the needle out, I cleaned everything out. I always take everything apart when a needle hits like that just to make sure everything's okay. But there is a grinding noise now whenever you turn the hand wheel and the needle goes up and down. You can just hear it, and it's awful. So now my Juki's in the shop, and I broke my Janome while making masks. So I dug my 301 out of my closet, which it's been in there for years. I got it out. I have no accessories for this machine anymore because I gave them all to my daughter when I gave her the 301A. So I did actually order a few accessories. So now I'm using my backup. Let's hope I don't break a third one this month, because that would be fantastic, just to keep sewing and not need to have every machine I own in the shop. Anyway, I did finish the 2 masks for the nurse, and I made some for Jules as well. And I've already mailed Jules, so I'll put a picture of hers in here. She got one like this, and the nurse got 2 like this. Her wife specifically asked for the music fabric because she's, in addition to being a nurse, she's also a drummer. I had a little bit of happy mail this last week, and I wanted to share some of it with you. Sarah from Houston sent me a scarf, and she actually asked me to pick what I wanted, and I love infinity scarves, and this is totally the wrong time of year for the scarf, but once it gets cool, I will wear a scarf everywhere I go. So I have quite a collection of infinity scarves, but this is my first blue one, so I'm very excited about this. Sarah, thank you so much for sharing this. It is one of my favorite colors to wear, as well as being my favorite scarf style. I also got another box from Lynn, and Lynn sent more quilt tops, more orphan blocks, more fabric. This is the partial quilt top, but I think if I fold it in half and sew it side to side, I can get a little quilt top out of this. And then I also have, I'm sure this was part of the project. She was probably strip piecing and then doing the 2.5-inch strips. It's that super soft, sort of minky-like fabric. And we have been in need of preemie sized blankets for Linus. The only facility we're donating to right now that takes baby blankets, I should say that takes a lot of baby blankets, they mostly want preemie. So that's like 30 inches and not very thick. They generally don't have batting in them. So I might see if I can turn those into preemies. This one might be a little chunky, but the other one might be okay because it has less seams. There's also a big quilt top. It's a really good sized one. It's a lovely pineapple quilt. And then there's a whole box of fabric. There's fabric, there are strips, there's all kinds of stuff in here. And I think there's some pre-cut pot holders in there. So thank you again, Lynn, for more wonderful things to share with the Linus Connection. They will go on the to-do pile, and I will probably share out some of the fabric just to make sure that as much gets done as possible. I do want to talk real quickly about Linus. We had a drive-through drop-off this weekend, and it included a couple of stations where our volunteers could pick up their challenge packets. We normally have a challenge packet that goes out this time of year, and then we have a challenge in October. Our challenge this year is going to be very different because, I mean, the world. But our volunteers, you look for information about that. We've got a whole plan in place. We just are nailing a few things down right now, and then we will let you know what's going on there. But we did collect a lot of blankets. They all came home with me, and my husband helped me sort them the next day. We got tons sorted. I took the poles. I'm doing this because I'm standing behind my frame. I took the middle pole off of my frame, and we used the table, and we just sorted everything. And then yesterday I went back and sorted the rest that was already in storage and got everything pulled, and we're getting these guys out. I mean, it's more complicated now than it used to be, and it's harder to do some things with less people. Our volunteers are still coming through for us. We're still getting lots of beautiful blankets in, and those of us who are still like kind of trying to get the blankets distributed, we're doing everything we can to get them out. And I want to just say like a huge thank you, guys. Just anybody who's donating quilt tops or blocks or quilts or knit blankets or crochet blankets or fleece blankets or flannel blankets, any kind of blanket. It's a huge help right now. We have a special need for older kids, like school-age children. Most of our donations that are going out are for preemies or for like elementary through teen. We're not doing a lot of the younger kids just because we haven't had a lot of requests for that. We have some, but we haven't had a lot. But the need for older kids it's huge right now. So from one volunteer to another, we really, really appreciate you. Don't forget, August, we start Jurassic Park Quilt-Along. That has been organized by Angela Bennett with the help of several other designers, and it's a big one, guys. It's going to be a big one. So pull out your scrap fabric and get your dinosaur mojo going, because it's coming. That is it. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Please take care, and I will see you next week. Bye.